Hello guys and welcome to this video. So Swain Rework has officially hit PBE. If you don't know what PBE is, it's a test server where you can try out league changes weeks before they go live. The rework will go live on every server in 14 days when this video is released. Okay, in patch 14.21. Right now we're 14.20. Anyways, I'm gonna take you through all the abilities, all the changes made, explain my thoughts and ideas, and give you guys my take on what is up with this new rework Swain. First, all the changes to his passive. They nerfed the healing. Before it was 3 to 6% maximum HP, but they have changed that now it scales linearly with level. Before it was, you had 3% level 1, 4% level 6, 5% level 11, 6% at 16, right? Now it scales per level, but it's 1% lower in total. That is the nerf to the passive. They made some pretty big changes to the queue. First off the bat, the mana cost is much lower. It starts at 42 mana, gets up to 50 mana. Before it was 45 mana level 1, got to 65 mana. The base damage is slightly decreased because each point you put in the ability, bolt damage doesn't increase, it stays at 15. Before it would go up to 55 per bolt, but they have added a little higher base damage just for the first bolt, right? And they have given it more AP ratio. Before it was 40% when you hit one bolt, and it would per bolt at 10% AP ratio. So in the total it would do 80% AP ratio damage when you hit them close range. Now it's 45 just for one bolt and it'll go up to 90%. So in total 10% AP ratio increase with a little loss of base damage. It's fine, it should make him scale better with AP. This also means they flatten out the damage because it's not as important now to land all 5 bolts to do like a lot of damage, because a lot of the base damage was in the bolts, right? So now it's going to be better at poking long range champs, while it's going to be slightly worse in melee range. But that's fine. We like it that they sharpen out that you're not terrible into range and you're not broken into melee champs, right? So really like this change. Gonna make it easier in lane to fight back against mages, poke them with Q. Also higher AP ratio in total, right? Once you get into later games, you're gonna feel this 90% AP ratio on the Q. It's gonna hurt a lot. Especially because it's a spell that gets down to 2 seconds once you level it up fully, right? And now it's 15 mana less also once it's fully ranked. So very nice change to Q. I really like these changes. Next up are the W changes. They didn't do that much on W. What they did though is they made the slow level 1 much better. Before the slow on level 1 was 25%. Now it's 50% for a level 1 spell, right? And it gets up to 70 before it max got up to 65. So the slow is really nice. The range is the same, guys. Cooldown is the same. Mana is the same. Damage is slightly worse. It's like 10 damage less. But they gave it 5% AP ratio as well. So now it's 60% AP ratio in total. Before it was 55. This makes it so this spell, especially because the slow is so high, that you don't need to like put that many points in it. Do you know what I mean? And you can actually start maxing E secondary now. I'll get to that later, because they did huge changes to E. And those are the changes I'm the most excited about. They also flattened out the reveal. Before you could get reveal time scaling from 4 to 8 seconds. Now it's just a flat 6 seconds. We like that. That's fine, especially if we're not gonna put points into W. Anyways, the biggest changes are for the E. Let's take a look at those. So what they did with E is, first of all, the cooldown is much longer. You can see here level 1, 14 seconds. Before, the cooldown was just a flat 10. Now it scales from 14 to 10 seconds. They also made it so the E1 doesn't do any damage any longer. There's no damage pass through, and there's only damage when it explodes on the way back, okay? But they have buffed this damage hugely, okay? So the damage is similar. It's just only under the explosion. This will make it much more consistent. So it's not like you only hit some with the wave there, and then maybe you hit the explosion on the enemy and it does only 1/3 of the damage, do you know what I mean? Now it's just all damage is in the explosion. The AP ratio is bigger. Before it was 50% when you hit both ways. Now it's 60% just in the explosion. They have did some scripting changes, so it's much more clean. I'll show you this. Also, they made it so the E is so much faster. Look at this. Look how fast it goes back, right? It's really, really quick now. They have really buffed the speed back. And they have increased the ratio, so it's much wider. And you can see here, look just how fast it comes back to us, right? It's gonna be much harder to dodge, even if I throw it like this, right? You can still walk with E. It's so much faster. It's more consistent, it's more nicer, it has better damage now. So it incentivizes to put points in E now, especially when you can get the cooldown down to 10 seconds, right? It's gonna be just like before, but the ability is so much better now, it's much more consistent. Very good change. Now for another big change they did is his ultimate. So basically what they did is they heavily nerfed the cooldown. Before it was scaling 120, 90, 60 on level rank. Now it's just 120 all ranks. Okay, so heavy nerf to the cooldown. They have heavy nerfed the damage. Look, the damage, it's only 15, 25, 35 with only 5% AP ratio. Before it, I think it was 10 AP ratio with higher base numbers as well. They've also heavily nerfed the healing here, at least this current version. I will say, just to clarify, all these numbers are not final. PBE is a test server where you can test stuff, and they most likely will do changes in the numbers. So all these numbers are not final. I just want you guys to take a look at the changes and understand them, alright? Don't worry too much if your numbers, if you think the numbers are too low or too high or whatever. Everything can still be changed. It's just a way for Riot to get the changes out there, see what they like, see what's nice, do you know what I mean? Moving on, the healing is also nerfed a lot. It doesn't scale nearly as good with AP anymore. Before it was 18%, now it's 5%. But now it actually has a health scaling. Okay, so 1% bonus HP will give you also more healing a second, right? But the biggest change though is ultimate now. First of all, I want to show you a thing. Look at this. I press ultimate, right? 120-second cooldown. Let's say we're draining here for a bit. We walk out now to the range. Ult runs out. Look at the cooldown. 110, right? So this means that they've changed it. So before it was like you pop ult. When the ult runs out, then the cooldown starts. You have to wait your 60 seconds or whatever. When you have it maxed, right? Now the cooldown begins once you press it. So let's say you have a 1 minute long teamfight or 30-second long ultimate. Just infinite ult, right? The cooldown is ticking while you're in ultimate form. That's a big change. So the cooldown nerf isn't actually that bad if you have like good fights. So don't worry too much about it. The biggest change though to the ultimate is you will now get multiple demon flares. I'll show you. So you run in range, right? You get your demon flare after 2 seconds. Once you activate this one, boom, look at this. We have another one coming up. It's 10 seconds cooldown. And this will get reduced by ability haste and ultimate haste. Okay? I'll show you. Now I just bought some ability haste here to show you guys. Look, I have 45 ability haste. We have plus 20 ultimate haste as well. I'm gonna press ult. 2 seconds goes past. We get the first demon flare. Boom. Look. 6-second demon flare. It's just coming on refresh now. And it scales with all your ability haste. Look, we can just go demon flare every 6 seconds now. This is a huge change. And what they did to the damage is they buffed the base damage on demon flare. But they nerfed minus 10 AP ratio on it. But since you can possibly get multiple demon flares off, you can actually dish out a lot of damage here, and the AP ratio is actually pretty good. Like let's say you get 3 demon flares off, that's 150 AP ratio. Do you know what I mean? If you look at it like that. They also made it so demon flare now slows 75% instead of 60%, which it used to do, right? This means it's easier to hit enemies with a demon flare like this, and then you can land your E. And remember, our E is so much faster now. So Swain just feels really, really, really nice. Like this is a huge quality of life improvement to Swain with his faster E. And I'm very excited for the multiple demon flares. See what we can pull off. You can also go ultimate hunter, by the way, and you can get more demon flares. Like let me just show you an example. Like now, just for the fun of it, I bought 120 ability haste, right? And you can see, we get a demon flare, and we have a demon flare every 4 seconds, right? I'm not saying you usually get 120 haste, but you can get 100 ability haste if you go, at least if you go ultimate hunter, right? Like you can get 5, 4 second demon flares. It's pretty fun to play around with. I really think this rework has huge potential. It's definitely, in my opinion, a much better direction than the past Swain, because he was just so inconsistent with his E's and W's. They also tweaked some minor changes like mana regen and your mana. Like they gave him more mana regen, but less total mana, and this is to try and like shift power, give some more power to support, because support gets buys mana regen right on support items. So I'm very happy for the rework. I think so far they've done a really good job. I'll say it again, the numbers are not final. They can still change all the ratios if they want to. I'm just a big fan of the changes that makes it feel nicer, right? Like the E, like the more spread out damage on Q, making it more consistent into range, right? Very interested to see the multiple demon flares. I think they will do some changes though. Personally, I think the healing on Swain right now is very low since they nerf passive and ultimate, and I think this 1% bonus HP healing will get buffed. That's just like my prediction basically. Because 1% is very low, right? You buy 3000 bonus HP as like a full build, plus you have a lot of passive stacks, and you'll only get 30 more healing a second. The healing definitely has taken a big hit, I will say though. The E changes are very nice, Q changes are very nice. W is very nice now as well. You don't have to really put points in anymore. You can max QE. W is still gonna be a great spell, has higher ratios, looking solid. Ult took a hit, but that was the point, right? They wanted to shift power, so you're not just an ult machine when you're only useful with ult, so you also your basic abilities have more impact and value. Anyways, I think that was it. I think these are all the changes so far to the Swain rework. I'm so excited to show you guys more. I'll upload gameplay videos from my PBE experience online, and I'll be sure to update you guys as quickly as I can. Also, once Swain Rework drops on full my live server, I'll make a full new guide. Also want to say a huge thank you all for supporting the channel, watching my videos. It honestly means a ton, guys. I'm very happy and excited for this rework. Anyways, that's all the changes. Thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful day.